Welcome to the Principals Forum. This is our second one today. The first one was this morning at 8:30, right after our morning prayer, and this one now at 6:30. We're hoping to get some people on Facebook who want to ask questions remotely. One of the reasons that we're doing this is because we know how busy you all are as parents. I want to thank Phil Thalheimer for volunteering to help us out with the video, and we're going live on both Facebook and on our webpage, so you can find us at those spots. The crowd is less than I would hoped live, but we do have someone here, and we will have some questions from the room, but I don't want to put it all on the questions from the room. Let's talk a little bit about what we do at these forums. These forums aren't designed for me to give a speech. I'm happy to give a speech, but I didn't prepare for that. But they're really designed to answer questions you might have about the school, about our programs, about our mission as part of the education ministry here at St. Francis of Assisi Parish. So as soon as we get our Facebook up, we will get started with questions, hopefully from Facebook. We are on about a 40-second delay between me talking right now and when you'll hear it on Facebook. But our school has had a great start to the school year in 1920, our 20th anniversary year. We're looking forward to continuing to celebrate our 20th year. We have some things planned for the spring. We would like to do a time capsule, for instance, and put that in the ground and wait 10 years to dig it up and see how things are. We also would have some alumni events, so we want to reach out to our alumni. If there's any alumni that you know of out there, please share our Facebook page with them and they can go back and watch this video. We have a social media presence, and one of the things that we do on Sundays is highlight alumni. So if there are alumni out there of the Franciscan School who want to have their story or where they are now highlighted, please send us that information and we'll put you up there. I mentioned that our school year started out well. Currently we have an increased enrollment this year by about 2%, say, over last year, and that's a good sign. We really depend on our parents and that word of mouth, which is the best advertising we have, to reach out to their friends, tell them what their experiences are at the Franciscan School. In fact, in the recent tidbits of this week, I mentioned again that we're looking for quotes that we can use on our webpage from our current parents. Parents who are looking for a school are really looking for the experiences of people who are there already and what their experiences have been, how they've liked it. We really want to emphasize the three parts of our mission, which is faith, academics, and service. We want to get examples of those. We want people to talk about them. So if you're interested in sending a quote in, please look at last week's tidbits. I don't see anything yet on Facebook. Do we have anybody on Facebook yet? I feel like I'm doing a podcast. Do you have any questions? No questions about the school or anything with it? Okay. How is second grade going? It's going well? Good? Good. We have spent some time this year working closely with our friars. I mean, everyone knows who's come to morning prayer how much Father Jim has been a great asset to the school. He's there every morning. He's participating. The kids all know him, and they all bring him donuts. And so we really want to emphasize our link to the parish and to our friars. A lot of people who are now trying to contemplate where they're going to send their kids next year are looking around at Catholic schools, and we have on our website and a number of other places, our social media, our written information that we provide to families. We have a lot of information that talks about why we feel that we're the best choice in the area if you're looking for a Catholic school that really emphasizes faith and service as part of our academic programs. People go to Catholic schools for the most part because of what we offer as a faith aspect. And I talked about this morning, we really emphasize the confidence that we provide our students. We provide great academics. Our Iowa scores show that. The surveys I do of our recent graduates the year after they graduate and ask them how they're doing in high school, we get very high marks on how prepared they were for high school. But really what we're really trying to do is build confidence in our students as they move through our school and then on to high school. And part of that confidence comes from the programs we have for things like morning prayer and when we do our masses. Our students really are engaged. Can you imagine when you were a kindergartner, if you can remember back, it's hard for me, but maybe you're much younger than me. And can you imagine when you were in kindergarten, standing up in front of 700 people outside and reading a prayer? It was, I shared this story this morning. I was a sophomore in high school and I had a class report. So I was doing a social studies report in a class of 20 or 25 kids at my Catholic high school. And I was terrified. But we have kindergartners standing up and talking in front of 700 people. They do it at Mass, they do it at morning prayer, and it really builds their confidence. And that has an innate quality to it where if you can do that, you have confidence in doing other things in your life. And we talked this morning about how they have confidence in advocating for themselves with their teachers. They have confidence in really saying no to peer pressure. They have confidence in what value they bring to their classes and to their friends. And so part of our effort here, and it's a conscious effort, is to make sure that what we're providing our kids is a solid foundation, of course academically, but also a solid foundation in confidence and self-assuredness so that when they go forward, they're ready for any challenge that they face. And we're really proud of that, and we're really conscious of doing that. How many people do we have on Facebook? 14. Would any of the 14 people on Facebook have a question for me? I'm not seeing it on my computer for some reason. Oh, so the question is, can you give us an update on the leveled reading program? And so recently, in the last 2 years, we've really emphasized our reading program. We do, at least in K through 4, DRA testing to determine reading level 3 times a year. We also have the Iowa test scores. And we really track those because reading is, to use a trite phrase, reading is fundamental. You use reading not only for language arts, but use it for math and science and social studies. And we've really emphasized determining the reading level that these students are at and working with them individually or in small groups to improve their reading level. So we have these leveled reading libraries, and what we do with those is we have all the books at the different levels. And so no matter what level you're at in, let's say, 2nd grade, you can find a book that's at your level or challenge yourself for a little bit higher level and move up more rapidly. And it's a very conscious effort to make sure that we're challenging the students and emphasizing the need for them to really get a solid foundation in reading and comprehension. So thank you for that question, whoever asked it. Are there other questions on Facebook for us? I'm sorry? 17 people. Good, good. Let me talk a little bit about, I mentioned our Iowa test scores. Those scores will be coming out soon. We have received the scores, and hopefully before Thanksgiving, we'll send them out. In the letter that you receive, you'll see the scores for our school. Those scores are laid out by the building score, which is a score for our school, and then a score for the students, and of course you'll get your individual student score as well. Now on the diocesan website, the average scores for all the different grades across the whole Diocese of Raleigh are available as well. So you can look at those, and that's all mentioned in the letter, and there's additional information in there about how to interpret the scores. Not everyone is a statistician and is not familiar with the scoring that we have, but you can go ahead and take a look. Of course, if you have any questions about any of the scores or how your particular child has done on the Iowa test, please reach out to their teacher or to us, and we're happy to answer that question.
There's another question from Melody Powers.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pronounce the last name.
Yep.
Because I just heard about the Environmental Science Initiative.
Right.
Tell us more about that.
So the Environmental Science Initiative, this is a class that we're having as an elective in middle school. So in middle school, I know there's a lot of parents out there whose kids aren't in middle school. In middle school, we allow the students to choose from a list of electives. And those electives are the traditional electives we've had, like music, art, drama, but we also have a number of other electives. And one we've added this year that's actually being taught by two of our parents is an environmental science elective. And they have recently, one of the things they've recently done is put in a composting initiative in our lunchroom. And so I don't know where the composting bin went, but because we're sitting in the lunchroom right now. But it's an effort through a local company to take as much of the food products that we normally would throw away, chips and bread crusts and other things, even things like paper towels that are easily compostable, and to collect all those and put them out back, and this company will come by 2 to 3 times a week, pick up that and take it away, compost it, and then at the end of the year, the whole parish will get so much compost back, and we'll use it in the parish gardens, we'll use it in the gardens around the school, we use it with landscaping. So it really is a way to live out our Franciscan charism and care for creation. It allows us to reduce the amount of waste we generate while also providing our gardens with some great compost to help make it more productive. Okay, we're still waiting for questions. So you can call in too if you'd like. About enrollment. Yeah, so I mentioned our enrollment is up. We're currently, or we will be actually, at 651 students in a couple weeks. We have some students who are enrolled but aren't actually in our school yet. They will be coming soon. We'd like to increase our enrollment, and I'll go back a second to what I talked about when I mentioned that parents are our best advertising. We've done a lot this past summer with our social media and our website, and we've really kind of focused that on as a marketing tool. And what we want to do is to make sure that we can provide for all those families, particularly in the parish, with an opportunity to get a great Catholic education. I will emphasize, because we emphasize this every year, we have significant financial aid available for those students who can't afford it. We don't want financial status to be a hindrance to coming to our school. We believe that we have a lot to provide, and it's not just based on your income. It's based on your interest in our faith, of course, as Catholic faith. It's your interest in all the Franciscans stand for, and it's also the opportunity to get a great education that will prepare you so well for high school. And so I think that our enrollment is kind of at a steady state right now. We'd love to increase our enrollment even more, but I think that we also want to make sure that we are conscious about the number of students we have in a class. And we talked about that a little bit this year. I don't know how many people are familiar. The third graders this year are very familiar with the fact that last year we had 2 second grades. That grade came in very small in kindergarten 4 years ago. And they've grown steadily every year. And last year in second grade, we had 2 second grade classes that were relatively large. And I think the third grade parents are very excited to have 3 this year. And so while they have a little less, 18 to 20 kids per classroom in that grade, it provides a great learning environment. And we are really committed to staying at approximately 20 to 22 students in K through 2, slightly larger, maybe 25 in 3 through 5th. And then in middle school, because of the altered schedule, I mentioned a little bit about the electives we have that allows us to be very flexible with the number of classes we have. We try to stay at about 25 for core classes in middle school, and then slightly larger for some of the more popular electives and PE and that sort of thing. So I think we've done a good job with our enrollment. I think we're going to be in good shape for the next couple years. We do have a large 8th grade class graduating this year. We have 101 8th graders, and I mentioned that we're able to be very flexible in middle school, and the fact that we have 101 8th graders and 85 7th graders and 80 6th graders just speaks to the amount of flexibility we have. The classes are not very crowded, and we have very dedicated teachers who work hard and long hours during the school day to be able to provide opportunities for our students. We have the second largest in the last 6 years, the second largest middle school set of classes. And so we're doing very well. We'd love to get more kids into the elementary. That's where our challenge really has been. And we look at the demographics of the area. We've just did a study, and while the area around us is growing at about 8%, the growth in the population that we serve, which is essentially 5 to 14-year-olds, is only growing it's less than 1%. So we're not getting that big boost. A lot of that is just the maturing of the area around the school. But we are confident we're going to have a very robust school. We have a great program here. We have a lot of opportunities for our students, and we give them a great foundation going forward. So all of that combines to make us a very attractive school to a lot of people. Okay. Okay. So we will wait just a few more minutes to see if there's other questions out there, but if there aren't, we'll close it down, and you can always look up this video on Facebook. If you're listening to me, you probably have, because you're listening to me. But
There's 6 people watching
6 people?
on your website.
Okay.
There's 22 on Facebook.
Okay. So we have almost 30 people out there. I guess all their questions have been answered because they're not asking many questions. I'm trying to think about what was said this morning and what we discussed this morning. We talked a little bit this morning about as a faith aspect, especially for our middle school. So we've had the opportunity to work with Cardinal Gibbons High School. In the past, for many years, we've talked to Cardinal Gibbons High School, and they would come, and Mike Rogasich, the assistant principal there, would bring some of our alumni back and talk to our 8th graders about high school in general. And he would talk to them about it because there is this, much like our 5th graders get nervous about going into middle school, our 8th graders, if you look through all the bravado, are a little worried about going to high school. They don't know what goes on in high school unless they've had older siblings. And so they used to come in and talk to our 8th graders. We've kind of switched that to more of a retreat format. And so last year, our 8th graders had a retreat where they talked about what reputation they want to leave, what is going to be their legacy at TFS. And then our 7th graders had a retreat on the gifts of the Holy Spirit. And Cardinal Gibbons has purchased recently a retreat center that they've kind of refurbished. And we are having our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders individually as classes go to the Short Journey Retreat Center and take advantage of that opportunity to have a retreat. I know the 6th grade is going early December. And so that's really an opportunity to kind of collaborate with other schools, and especially the high school that many of our students go to, and find out more about and really focus in on their faith for a whole day and talk about what it means to them. It's really difficult a lot of times for middle school students to talk about their faith, and this gives them an opportunity to do that in kind of a safe space with their friends. My daughter's a senior at Cardinal Gibbons High School, and she went on the Kairos retreat in September And I would recommend that anyone who has the opportunity to go on a Kairos retreat, take that opportunity. It really is for many students a life-changing moment. And it, much like we're trying to do, it gives them a real opportunity to talk about their faith and see how faith has changed their peers, see how faith has impacted their life and really reflect on it. So I think this will be a great opportunity to incorporate even more of our faith, at least in middle school, for these students, and it gives them a great opportunity to kind of experience that. Are there other questions out there? I did talk, one of the questions about the Franciscan experience. I do, and I mentioned this morning, want to talk about our Home and School Association. Our Home and School Association is a great organization. Everyone's a member of it. They do a great job every year. They just had another excellent fundraiser, and thanks to all of you for donating the funds that were used and will be used to help the kind of extracurricular activities at the school. Not only does the money raised from the fundraiser go towards the HSA functions such as our trivia night or pizza bingo or field day and all those experiences, but they also provide teacher grants, and the teacher grants are really taken full advantage of by our faculty, but they really provide a lot of resources so that our teachers can really challenge themselves and their students and really push the envelope a little bit because they have these resources available to them. We've had STEM equipment purchase, we have environmental science equipment purchase, we've had a lot of texts purchased for the reading program, all these sorts of things. The leveled reading library was done through a grant from the HSA. A lot of our security over the years that has been improved has been through grants from the Home and School Association. So we really, really take advantage of the funds that were provided. We are going to break ground hopefully soon on another building up on our field to use for storage, so we can free up a classroom to use as a STEM resource classroom. And that'll provide a space for us to have STEM materials. It'll be a reservable space that allows our teachers to reserve the space and take a class in there and work on a project, or it'll have equipment in there that you can go in and take and sign out and take back to your classroom and use in your classroom. It'll really provide us a great opportunity to move towards our STEM certification. And if you're interested in participating on the HSA board, the elections are coming up in the spring. Look in tidbits. Look at our newsletter for information about it, or talk to some of the HSA board members. They are all listed on in our newsletter. Please reach out to them, find out what the board's about. We're always looking for great volunteers for all of these things that I just listed that we do, but we are also looking for board members to help be leaders for the Home and School Association. Okay. I think what we're going to do is I think we're going to end the principals forum for this evening. I thank you all for tuning in. I will ask again that when we have this again in February or March, please come out and ask questions. We are always open to feedback. We're always willing to answer your questions. If something comes up and you have a question that you can't find the answer to, everyone knows my email address. Send me an email. I'm happy to respond. So thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Thank you for those who came and are here live. And I very much appreciate your support of the Franciscan School. We're happy to have you here, and it's going to be a great 20th year.